Altostratus. I distinctly remember the first time that I flew. I was 3 years old. I know that for a fact because Daddy was taken away in the ambulance on my 3rd birthday. I thought that the white-coated doctors had been invited to my party. Daddy wasn't sick. He had locked himself in the upstairs bathroom. Whilst Mummy guided me to the kitchen, the doctors went upstairs. Above the music, I could hear my father shouting, and eventually he came down with them. He was crying. He told them he wanted to say goodbye to me. They led him into the kitchen, but somehow he slipped and knocked my birthday cake off the table. My friends stood in the corner and watched. As the doctors guided Daddy into the hallway, I ran upstairs and climbed onto the banister. As the front door opened, the sun shone through, and for a brief moment, Daddy was lit in gold. The front door closed, and Daddy was gone. Then Mummy saw where I was. "Toby!" she roared. "Get down from there this minute. You'll fall. It's your birthday and your friends are waiting." It was then that I began to fly and rose effortlessly towards the ceiling. Mummy dashed up the stairs and caught hold of my ankle. "What on earth do you think you're doing?" she shouted. "I'm flying," I said. "Well, stop it. Come down at once." I wriggled and twisted and shook my ankle free, and she snatched at my trouser leg. It was no use. I floated out of her reach. It was as though I was a giant balloon filled with helium. I brushed against the ceiling and squeezed through the gap in the partly open skylight. As I bobbed away, Mummy's shouts grew fainter, and the clear, cool air washed over my face. There were all sorts of shapes that day. A castle with turrets like ice cream cones. A leering dog chasing a cat with a large hat, its mouth turning into a grin as it rushed past. A galleon drifted by with billowing white sails. I lay back in the great fluffy whiteness, my hands behind my head, and stared into the blissful blue beyond. Then I heard my mother's voice, rising gently towards me, growing louder, more urgent, each time she called my name. "Toby! Toby!" I sighed and reluctantly returned to our house. I eased myself through the skylight and landed on the banister. I slid down but lost my balance on the way. I tumbled off and landed on the hallway floor, the tiles cold against my cheek. My friends had all gathered around as Mummy shook my shoulders. She was crying. Then she was angry. "That was a silly thing to do. You could have broken your neck." "But Mummy," I said, "I flew. I really did." "No, Toby, you didn't. You fell, just the same as your poor Daddy. Now come on, get up. Let's have some of that cake, what's left of it." After that, I often sat at the top of the stairs, waiting for Daddy to come back, shining golden through the hallway door. Despite Mummy's promises, he never did, and I never again tried to fly. The clouds are now stratus, that solid grey, deflating sort of cloud. Shapeless, they conjure no enticement to become airborne. My body has become a slab of granite, weighing several metric tons. It pushes me through sheet, mattress springs and bed slats, and buckles the very pine floorboards that I laid 15 years ago. I require a trolley jack to prise me from this place of unflying. I am truly grounded, my balloon in tatters. I can still hear the voice of my mother. She rubbed her hands on her apron and smiled at me. "We can't fly, darling," she said gently. "That's only something the birds and butterflies can do." I didn't believe her. I was 3 years old. I'm still waiting for Daddy. Still waiting to fly. Thank you.